Cory, dude, you and I jumped into Towerborne in early access, just dropping here, and I'm gonna start off with dude, I'm not recommending the game. We're previewing the game, and
Okay.
I'm taking a different stance. Even though I've had a decent time, I've had some disconnects as well, and a couple other things, but I'll break it down. What are you doing? Are you gonna recommend it or not recommend it?
I'm actually going to give this one a recommend. I haven't had maybe some of the same technical issues you've had through this early access period, but I have had a really good time. I think this game brings a unique kind of aspect to this beat 'em up genre that we haven't really seen before. So for me, I definitely think people should be checking this one out, but I really like to hear your half of the story, Drew.
All right, so let me dive in. First of all, the story setup I think was cool, right? Their main home is gone. Basically, what's going on is that everybody's gone to this tower, and the tower is where you are. And then the ace, you're an ace, they call you, and you have to protect the tower. And then they build up more and more of these aces that becomes like they're almost like a guard in essence, right?
Yeah.
So you go to your hub world, dude. The minute I go to leave my hub world, and then get out into so then the map opens up, you pick your location where you're gonna go, which I thought is a unique perspective, something we don't often see in that kind of like almost like a Civ experience, right? Like
Yeah.
Civilization, where you get that map view, and then it brings you into the world, which is a 2D side scroller. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I had fun with the game, but the problem comes down to when I leave the map world, dude, I just get disconnected. I get bumped right to the main screen, which then I have to load back in, and then I have to get into the game, and then I have to go, maybe I'll get bumped out, maybe I won't, maybe I'll get to play. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't recommend the game. However, if you have friends, because it is co-op, I think that's where it's really going to get it hooks into you, right? I was waiting for that hook. Where's that pull? Where's that? What's going to sink my teeth into this game? Because it is early access, there's still things to come along in the future, so you can expect more and more out of the game, granted, right? So maybe when the full release is out, maybe that's when it really kind of gets its hooks into me, but it was the disconnect, and when I do go out and play, because I was solo, I didn't really get the full enjoyment I was really hoping for. I think when you get into your classes, it's cool, you can then start building out which way you want to go. Dude, I was like the Shadow Striker, so two blades, right? Very, very fun. I had a blast playing it, but I'm going like, all right, I'm going to go back now to my hub world. I'm going to look to upgrade my stuff. I'm going to dismantle my gear that are completely useless. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this again to the repetitive, the same enemies, to the same beat of the drum is kind of how I felt as I was playing the game, right? What is the variation that's going to change it up? Oh, we're going to give you a purple guy. All right, cool. So he's a little bit tougher, right? Oh, now you're getting into a boss. Okay, cool. And then you just kind of go in this 2D side scroller. I think some people are going to have an absolute blast. Where me, I'm like, man, I just want a little bit more. Maybe that co-op experience would take everybody's game experience to that next level that I was looking for.
Yeah, I think the co-op, like you said, is going to be one of the bigger draws once this game releases and there is a larger fan base playing this game. The fact is that there is a couch co-op aspect and an online co-op aspect, which is really cool. And I think the fact, like you said, that you don't necessarily always have to be online to be able to be in these lobbies, because I did have a couple login issues when I first started to play this one. I got booted out twice, but then after that, I actually had a fairly smooth experience all the way through. I didn't have any issues with loading screens. There was some graphical things at times, but again, with early access to games or early looks at games like this, I don't try to count too much of that against, because that's a lot of stuff that can be kind of ironed out as we get closer to launch. But Drew, for me, the big thing is the gameplay loop was a lot of fun. I did like the fact that you can basically switch up the classes between each mission. So if you really don't like what you're playing, you can jump in, try one of the other classes. I was the Pyro class, and he was more like a big hammer with a cannon on it, essentially. And I really liked that class. I had a lot of fun playing that. I found that as you play through, you earn a lot of gear for the other classes as well. And like you said, depending on what you want to play as, you might not want to always use that, but you have the ability to kind of upgrade the other classes while you're still playing as one other class. You can get better gear, better equipment, throw that on another class, try that out, kind of upgrade as you go. I like the fact that you can kind of play as all four if you really want to as you go through. You're not really stuck with one from the beginning to the end. So I like the ability to just kind of keep it always fresh if you're looking for something new. But again, that is with our character. We run into a lot of the same enemies, like you said. So far through, you do get different looks at enemies, but at the same time, it does really feel like a rinse and repeat. And if you're not playing with your friends, I don't know how long a game like this can keep its hooks into you. Maybe we're going to see some updates in the future. There sounds like there may be some seasonal content coming this way. There's a lot of customization that can happen on the map, so I'll be interested to see what the developers are going to do kind of moving forward with this.
No, I think that's really what it comes down to. What does the future of the game look like, right? At the moment, I'm not recommending it, but it could very well, when we get to 1.0, be a whole different conversation, right? This is why you get into early access, to help the developers. Hey, where are the potholes within this experience, right? No voice acting right now either. It makes me a little concerned that there won't be any at the end of the game either, which, dude, I'm always a big proponent of having voice acting to help it. I feel it helps bring the immersion in. Oh, yeah. So if my character is silent, dude, there's so many characters that are always silent like that. That's fine. But even in the hub world, dude, there's no conversations whatsoever. I think that's really lacking, right, at the end of the day. I don't know. We'll keep up to date on the game, dude, but I'm really, really curious to see what 1.0 looks like as the future build for Towerborne.